Hi, Vismai here. In today's film, I'd like to talk about the client journey. So when we were starting our practice, I was explaining chiropractic and quite frankly too, I was blue in the face. Some people understood it cognitively, some people got the big idea quite quickly, but most people actually didn't. And what I realized, I was just talking about chiropractic way too abstractly. And that was me being a victim to my curse of knowledge. And it's quite difficult to speak about a topic concretely when you know so much about it, right? So I'm going to talk in today's film about two parts. One is the client journey, the zoomed out effect that we started to think what would be the ultimate touch points for a client over 6 months that we could rinse and repeat. And the second thing is I'll give you a tour of our chiropractic office, because the design environment that you invite them in is a very strong subliminal marketing tool so that you actually attract people with shared values. So if we think about an acronym, it's called LIFO, L-I-S-O. And what's that stand for? It stands for last in, first out. That means that you're the last person to a person's mind and you're often the first out, right? So they enter your chiropractic office with a symptom. So they step into the chiropractic office with some sort of symptom, and after a few weeks, if you get results, the client kind of leaves because they've got no other reason really to stay in care. They've got what they came for. People want to get home to their family and friends at the end of a busy day. They don't want to, come to the chiropractor. Some people quit because they get results. Other people quit because they don't get results. But the point is, you're the last in their mind. You're the first out, especially now while we're competing with attention with all these mobile phones and apps, and just life digitally very noisy and busy for us. So we stepped back and we thought, okay, let's design the ultimate kind of touch points. And it took us 8 years to design this. Of course, I can teach that way quicker now because we know what gets engaged with from our community. But we've termed it the Vortex, and it's got a few touch points, right? So if this is time on the bottom, we've got some things that work on an immediate post-adjustment rhythm. We've got some things that work really well on a weekly level, some that work really well on a monthly level, some that work well on a 6-weekly level, some that work well on a quarterly level, and some work really effectively on a 6-month level. Now, if you get the sequence wrong, for example, we do a biannual community challenge and we tack a free open day onto the end of that challenge while we've got our community engaged. But if you do that every week, one, it's way too much work for you, and two, you've just come across as too needy. It's just a desperate plea. If you do the newsletter, we do our quarterly newsletter. We have this one, the quarterly newsletter. This one's called Energy for Life, but we bring it out every quarter. We've tried it every month, but it was just too much work for me, and it was a bit of overkill for the clients. But settling on a quarterly rhythm, that just fit this really perfectly. We do a book of the month, but if we bring a book of the week out every week, it's just too much research for me to find books that really suit us. But 1 book a month, 12 a year, yeah, I can do that. And so we term this the Vortex, and they were touch points that we put people through. Because if you don't alter the reason why people are coming to you, you've got about 4 weeks to alter that before results kick in or don't kick in. Then they leave. You need to give them other reasons. You need to ascend them from a basic pain level of understanding into at least some sort of awareness with their body, so that they start to get attracted to your work. They become adopters. They get a bit more affinity with your work, and finally they become full-blown advocates that share your office. But if they enter with a symptom, each cycle that they go through the Vortex, each 6-month cycle they go through, they go deeper and deeper into your message of chiropractic. And the Vortex is kind of like it's a bit like the supportive lighting and white walls of an art gallery. It's quite silent somehow in the background, but I believe the art in an art gallery would look way less nice if it didn't have supporting walls and supportive lighting, and that's what the Vortex is. So sometimes I have critics to my work. They often say, you're not focusing enough on chiropractic, but this is like the lights in the walls. That's not taking away the attention of the art. Like the chiropractic adjustment remains central, but all these other touch points, they just give the client a different experience to go through. And I mean, I don't want to blow my trumpet, but I see one new person for every 2,000 to 2,500 returning visits. At least I did, after 8 years in Holland. Our practice here in Singapore is a lot newer, so my PVA has actually just hit over the 100 after 4 years, which doesn't sound like a lot. It's a big jump up to 2,000, but the PVA metric actually just bobbles along for a while until it sort of hits a hockey stick effect. So they enter with a symptom, but I believe they remain in care because of the vortex. And that's the design, that's the touch points that you want to bring people through. So what I suggest is building your vortex in your office. It's going to take you a good 6 to 8 months to build. After that, it's going to take you another 6 months to train your team so that they can really master the tools for retention, referrals, and reactivations. So it is a timely thing. Is it a worthy pursuit? I mean, give me any day an office in 2 to 3 years that's got a high retention metric, as opposed to somebody who's constantly doing the promotion on social media and completely relying on new clients the whole time. If you'd like to read more about the vortex, I've written a book. It's called Kick Your Clients. It's a great text. This just tells you all the elements of the vortex. And we've tested maybe 200 of these touch points while we were finding our way with our 6-month client rinse and repeat journey. And there's about 15 left. So you can imagine just so many things that we thought would get engaged with by the community simply didn't. I've also put this vortex into more than 200 chiropractic offices, so it works quite universally. It's not a script, it is a framework, which most CAs like, because CAs just like to have a framework and tools to help you build your practice. But get hold of this book. I'll put the link in the description down underneath. But really think about that. Think about how you design your office. Zoom out. If you've got frustration, even infuriation. I was like, gosh, we've got this great tool called chiropractic on the one hand, and then on the other hand, the public just wasn't buying it from me. So, my PVA back end was maybe 20, one new person for every 20 visits. And it just meant I had to just get a lot of new clients to keep the practice up. And we had 5 associates in one location. So if I was just to have a PVA of 20, the pressure for me to fill all those practices as the business owner it's just stressed me out. But if I could maintain my clients and ascend them through chiropractic care and keep them in the loop, and then the next associate could come, the next associate could come, the next associate could come. We built the vortex so that each associate could just build their practice and retain their clients way, way, way easier. So we've talked about the design of the customer journey, the client journey, but it'd be incomplete to not at least talk a little bit about the office design when we talk about design thinking, because how you present yourself to the public is just super important. So we're on the outskirts of Singapore in a quaint little village. It's about 5-minute drive from the town centre. And so here's the entrance to the office, very humble. It's just a little pop-up building so that he takes you inside. You have to somehow be presenting the values that you want to give across to your clients in the office setting. It doesn't work so well if it's not. So you walk into our office, very small office actually. We're on 53 square meters. This is our humble little front desk setting. At the office itself is our little waiting room. I've got a beautiful wooden floor here for giving naturalism. That divider wall there's on walls, so when we have any healthcare classes or something like that, we can easily move that away. And then behind that wall is the open adjusting area. Up the back is the new client console. There's our lending library. And then while we're got the captive attention of clients, it's nice to have all our quarterly newsletters, old issues just sitting around there in the waiting room. So let's come a little bit further now. So literally the waiting room's there and the open adjusting areas here. We use the Thule tables. I think they're just a beautiful subliminal natural thing to talk about. So I have 2 tables here. Just a little table there for my blocks and activator. I use SOT, so that's the technique I use. And then moving along to the console area. And I've just got it separated by glass. And this actually opens up too. So you can really open that wall up. So we've got a nice big space if we want to give a presentation. So we put people on the bilateral scales for the new client. And it's just a small little consult area. So there's the practice in its entirety, actually. It's a really small little space. But you see from what you're looking at now, it's organized, it's clean, it's minimal, it's simple, but it's quite elegant, and it's definitely speaking to the naturalists and people wanting natural healthcare. Need to be, you need to show them that that's what you're about. Hardcore naturalists will pick up on all that, even if it's subliminal. I have a little area just here. There's my book that I write there. I often give that to new clients after they've adopted a bit my chiropractic care. And then just up the back here, like most offices, we have a back of house area. And this is also quite a simple little space. There's the kitchen, staff meeting area here. And there's our Hall of Fame there on the back. And we've actually got a cute little garden, which is quite nice for Singapore. Doing my reading and my studies out there. So that's the office, but you'll see even the divider walls, they're not plastic, they're all made from wood. I've got beautiful art that changes every few months. Wooden floor, we've got an antique front desk, so not fake wood from IKEA or something like that. All these things just really speak to naturalists. Got some books that we also have in the waiting room, and like I said, just a really captive time there to have the previous issues of all of our newsletters that get taken. They end up becoming an archive actually over time, so they become great educational and promotional brochures for people. So that's our little office, and hope you enjoyed the small tour.